What is up, everybody, and welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about the MPC XSE. I've been making some music with this new MPC, and I've been just having a lot of fun creating with this XSE. This is not going to be a long video. I feel like it's going to be pretty short. There's just a few things that I want to cover on just what is my experience coming from the MPC One, Live, and Keys. Now, having this flagship MPC, the difference of it, is it worth it? Is it something that I would consider keeping or investing in? Just sharing my thoughts on this unit. All right, these are just a few things that have stood out to me, and these are the things that I'm going to point out. Again, might be a quick video, but let's talk about the layout of this MPC XSE. The layout, as soon as I got it out of the box, when I unboxed it, super cool, right? It looks awesome. It feels really cool with these buttons right here. It gives you everything you need to tap into with dedicated buttons. Your menu, your browser, sequencer, all that stuff, you get it right here on the layout. Opposed to the MPC One or the MPC Live especially, you have to shift click quite often to jump into certain menus. Now, that's not an issue because once you get the hang of shift this and shift that, it moves pretty fast. So it's not an issue until you experience something like the MPC X or the MPC One, since that one also has some pretty awesome dedicated buttons. Now, talking about buttons, this is something very personal to me. I love these clicky buttons. I don't know if you can hear this, but the clicky buttons to me is awesome. I know the MPC Live has more of soft click, or I don't know what they're called, but they're more rubbery buttons. I don't like that because there's been a lot of times where I click a function and I thought I clicked it. You don't know if you clicked it until you have these clicky buttons where you click it and you can hear it and it executes right away. I don't know. That's just something that I've noticed coming from an MPC Live. I don't like those squishy buttons. I like these clicky buttons instead. This difference that I'm talking about with the layout and the clicky buttons, this is just a luxury. This is not, oh, this makes the MPC a lot better. No, it's just a luxurious thing to have that you have right here in front of your machine. It does not take more than a second to shift click on an MPC Live or even an MPC One. Now, speaking about being spoiled with some of the dedicated knobs and buttons, I want to talk about the Q-Links. The Q-Links, by far, right now, and I'll say this right now, is kind of like towards the beginning of the video, but this is the best thing of the MPC X, the Q-Links right here. Before getting the MPC X, a lot of people would mention, you know, the Q-Links is awesome, this, and that. I never really paid too much attention. I never really looked into why these Q-Links are awesome. So if you are like the way I was, let me just show you really quick why this is the best thing that's happened to the MPC X coming from any other sampler, especially someone that enjoys sampling and chopping up records the way I do. Let's say I want to jump in and just bring in a sample. All right, we got a sample right here. I go into sample edit, and just a quick reference, if I want to start chopping anything up right here with the MPC Live or the MPC One, you have your Q-Links on the side, and then you have your Q-Link banks. So you can go to bank 1, 2, 3, 4, and you start either trimming the start point or the end point as you're toggling between different banks of Q-Links. It's not an issue until now that I have the MPC X, having these dedicated Q-Links. As I go back to the MPC One or the MPC Live, it's now an issue to me because now I'm like, oh man, I have to toggle between. When I'm sampling, I'm very big on just capturing what I feel in the exact second that I hear whatever it is that I hear. I'm very fast and a bit sloppy when I'm chopping up records, and I'm right here on my sample edit page. Now, this is really cool because the first row of Q-Links is your start point. Your second row of Q-Links is your end point. You don't have to bank. You could just boom, boom, boom. Like, just that is awesome. Now to zoom, you have it right here. Boom. If you just got to zoom in, oh, let me zoom in right here. Let me adjust the start point. Oh, let me get the end point. Let me zoom back out. Like, this is perfect. I love it. I'm just telling you right now, if you want to click out of the video, go ahead and click out. This is the best thing of the MPC X. Now, I know the MPC X, the first one, this is the XSE. That one has it. I was actually even looking into the MPC X, just because of the Q-Links. If the XSE is a little too expensive, I understand the $2,500 is a lot of money, but looking into a used MPC X, just to have these Q-Links, that's awesome. Well, actually is not $2,500. We'll talk about the price change in just a few moments. But this is so cool. If you're a sample-based producer, you enjoy chopping up records day in and day out. I have a stack full of records next to me, and this just makes sample chopping so fun. Now, these Q-Links are not only good for when you're sampling, you're chopping up records, but also when you're in the arranger. Once you're arranging your beat, I'm very big with putting my beats together within the arranger. If you're on 3.0, you're able to zoom in and zoom out, get your loop point. This is so cool. Right now, I don't have a beat. Actually, let me open up a beat that I have. All right, so right here, I have an arranger on a beat that I was working on. I can zoom in. If I need to zoom in to a specific area, if I got to move over, I can. This right here makes the arranger experience that much better. If I have to set a different loop point, I could just go to loop and start adjusting what specific area I want to just focus on and loop. Bésame, noche la puede estar. Noche la puede estar. Noche la puede estar. Bésame, bésame mucho. Bésame, noche la puede estar. All right, I got a little too excited. I'm over here trying to show off a beat. Look, this makes this arranger experience so cool. Again, it is a luxury to have. It is not something that you don't have on your MPC. It's just you have it laid out and it's a better experience. Now, let's talk about something that you will not get if you have any other MPC that you do get on the MPC X, and that's going to be your inputs and outputs. If I/O is important to you, what is I/O? I/O is the inputs and outputs. If that is something that is important to you, then this MPC or the MPC X, the first edition, might be worth every penny. I know you can connect a class-compliant interface to your MPC One and expand those inputs and outputs, but if you're someone that's like, you know what, I don't want to carry around my MPC with a different interface or have to worry about purchasing something else separate, this right here is awesome. It gives you more than enough inputs and outputs. That was the biggest reason why I wanted to get an MPC X, because I enjoy connecting stuff like guitar pedals, my MPC or my SP1200. I'll run some drums directly into the MPC. I have it hooked up at all times. So if I'm putting together a beat and just really fast, I'm like, you know what? This would sound cool if I run the bass note through the SP1200. If I want to do that, the inputs and outputs, it's already routed. I have it going in right here. I sample it. I just trigger it with one of the pads. I bring it right back into the MPC without me having to disconnect or reroute or go back to your inputs. Everything is hardwired the way I work, the way I want to build my tracks. Same thing with guitar pedals. There's times where I have guitar pedals already connected into the MPC. They're ready to go. If I need to, let's say, run my drums through a guitar pedal, if I want to do that, I can just send it. I don't have to reconnect anything. This thing gives me more than enough inputs and outputs. So for me, that is something very important. I don't want to have a different interface plus the interface for my studio. And like, I want to just have my MPC. The less for me, the better. Now, this is so unique to everybody. I know there might be somebody else watching this like, no, I'm okay with having a big old studio and a bunch of racks of gear. I'm not that type of person. I like to strip down the most that I can with my studio setup, the gear that I have in here. This is a small room for me. So the less, the better, and the more convenient I can have something already built into it, the better it is for me. Now, something else that's really cool on this MPC X, I just have not used it because it's not my MPC. I'm borrowing this from Zounds, is the fact that if you flip this around, at the bottom of this MPC, you can install an SSD drive. So if you want extra storage, you could expand the internal storage to whatever you feel like it. If you want to buy a terabyte SSD drive, you connect it to the MPC and you have it built into your MPC, so you don't have to connect any external SD card or a USB stick or anything like that. You could have it built into your MPC. That's pretty cool. I have that on my MPC Live. I have a terabyte that I installed. I will never use that terabyte. I use probably half or less than half of that terabyte, but it's cool to have right there just whenever I want to save any sounds or any beats. I don't have to worry about having or looking for an SD card. I can just save it to that SSD built into my MPC. Now, with that out the way, let's talk about RAM. The MPC XSE does have more RAM than the MPC One, Live, or Keys. To me, I mean, great, right? The more, the better. I cannot speak too much on that because the way I make beats, if you've been subscribed to my channel, you'll know that I use 3 tracks: sample, drums, and bass. Sometimes I will just use 2 tracks. And when it comes down to plug-in instruments, if I ever use a plug-in instrument, it's probably going to be 1. I rarely use more than 1 plug-in instruments when I'm building tracks. So I cannot tell you, you know what, the MPC One is so slow. I cannot speak on that because I've not experienced that. My sessions, the beats, my arranger, when you see it, it's very simple. Look at this right here. This beat, 2 tracks. I love how that sounds. I don't want to add anything else. I'll grab this, I will just record it into my DAW, and I'll start building it on my DAW. If I want to add, take away, do the whole complex with plugins and all that stuff, I'll do that with my computer. When I'm using the MPC One, everyone's different on this aspect, but for me, I'm not doing heavy lifting where I need all that RAM. Of course, if we can get it, that's better. I'm not saying I don't need it, I don't want it. If you're someone that uses multiple plugin instruments and just has a lot of tracks, I'm 100% sure that the experience using the MPC XSE is going to be a lot better. I'm not putting 2 machines next to each other and loading up a plugin to see what loads up faster, but I do feel, and I've noticed without having to compare it side by side, this loads up plugins a lot faster when it comes down just to those complex instrument plugins. All right, so there's so much more on the MPC X that I'm not covering, but these are the few things that I'm feeling an impact on just coming from an older MPC. Now, this is a question that I've been getting from a lot of my subscribers. If I already have an MPC, let's say you have an MPC One, do you think it's worth upgrading to something like the MPC XSE? Now, when I first got the X, unboxed it, started making music with it, oh, that is like, I'm in love with it, right? Of course, my brain is like, this is the best machine ever. It's so fun to make music on it. Well, when I unboxed it, it was like 3 days into me making music with the X. The price of this MPC was $2,500. Although I loved and enjoyed experiencing the MPC X, I felt like $2,500 with the love that I had for this machine is still a little too much, and I don't think I would have invested $2,500 for something like the X. Why? Because the things that I'm getting with the MPC X, I'm paying for luxury. I'm paying for just a better experience. My workflow is not different. This does not make you make beats that sound better or anything like that. It just gives you a better experience when making music. So if that's important to you and you have the type of money where it's like, hey, you know what, I'm willing to pay for a better experience, then it's worth every penny. And I think, yes, this does give you a better experience, 100%. Now, I did think as I was making music and I was like, man, $2,500, how much would I pay, to upgrade? I felt like $1,500 was like that bracket where I was like, all right, I would consider just investing, at least for me, the way I have my money sorted out. Everybody's life is different financially, but I was like, all right, $1,500, I can afford $1,500, and that is something that I would be willing to invest into an MPC XSE. Right after I said that, the next day I wake up, I go into Zounds.com and I see that the price of the MPC X drops to, I think it's like $18.99. So it's a pretty big drop in price. It is an awesome MPC. If you have the money for it, I think it is worth it if you are a diehard sample bass, someone that really enjoys sampling music and that you invest a lot of time throughout your day making music. If you're just a hobbyist and you're just like, oh man, I'll make beats, here and there whenever I want. Yeah, it's a lot of money to invest, for a sampler. But if, again, you're chopping up records day in and day out, this does make it very fun. Now, the question comes around, and why is Akai dropping the price on something like the MPC X? Of course, I've been seeing a lot of videos where it's like, oh, there's probably a new MPC that's going to come out. I mean, I'm sure there is. Akai, there's always something new coming out with Akai. So when it comes down to a new MPC, should I wait or should I just, get something like the MPC X? I'm no one to tell you that. I cannot tell you that because I don't know what they have coming, and I don't know what difference that new machine might have. From the time that I've been using the MPC 1 till today, which I think I got into the MPC 1 in 2020, there's been new MPCs that came out, and for me, they've all been the same. They just give you a different layout. They give you a different experience, whether it's a better experience or a worse experience. But they all seem like they're the same machine. So I don't know what's coming out with the MPC. I don't know what new technology they might be bringing. I don't know if they're going to upgrade the RAM or if there's going to be a different sounding converter. I don't know anything about that. Again, that's just me. I cannot tell you because I don't know what might be coming around the corner. All right, guys, I'm used to making beats when I make my videos, and I'll tell you right now, there's been times that my mind messes with me a lot, and I'm looking at my videos. I'm like, man, it's always a beat making video. One of these days, I just want to sit down and talk with you, just the way I'm doing it right now. And man, this is tiring. I feel like I'm just talking a lot. So I'm going to cut the video short right now. If you are going to purchase anything from Zounds and you want to support my channel, use my links that I have on this video. It does help me out. It doesn't cost you anything extra. Look, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me until the end of the video. I appreciate you investing time. I know time is valuable, so thank you for being with me and spending it right here watching this video. I'm gonna let you guys go, and till next time. Peace.